Hey folks, welcome back. Glad you're here. I was looking at some pictures the other day of my ancestors way back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they were doing anything from cutting hay to gardening to getting wood, building, blacksmithing, and I studied those pictures quite a lot. Well, for a very long time I did, because it's like, wow, I just kept thinking the hard life that they lived. Everything was manual. They cut all their wood with either a two-man saw or an axe, right? So, and when they did the garden, they either dug it up by hand or they had a horse team. Same with hauling the firewood out of the woods with log length, right? And haying fields, they were out there with a scythe. Now, some of those tools were pretty cool. Now, I remember as a real wee one, my father cutting grass with a scythe. I remember him sharpening. It was a great big long blade, and him sharpening it, and it got to the point where all he had to do was make a swoop, and the grass would just lay right down. That baby was sharp. So I was always intrigued by that anyway. But back then, folks, they didn't have lawnmowers. They didn't have hay machines. They didn't have anything. They didn't have tractors or anything, folks. So they had to forge a blade, right, and then go out in the woods somewhere and get an ash tree or something and make it into a handle, right, and then fit the two pieces together so they could cut their hay. Back then they had the skills to do that. They had the knowledge, and it was almost like every other place down, they either blacksmith or were cutting lumber or whatnot. A lot of people don't do that today. A lot of people wouldn't know the first thing about how to do any of that, right? Now it's we turn the sod over with a rototiller or a tractor. We hay the fields with a tractor and a hay baler, right? We cut trees with chainsaws and haul them out with tractors or four-wheelers or whatever, right? So if something were to happen, we were thrown back into that era. Even those of us, and I'm going to say I'm in pretty good, for as big as I am, I'm in pretty darn good shape, folks. Even for me, that would be quite a task. It would be quite a task. I don't think it would take me a while to build up if I didn't have a heart attack or stroke, right? Because that was a lot of really hard work, folks. Today it's so easy, but we can't build our tractors. Most of us can't build our tractors, right? We can't build our chainsaws. They made do with what they had, and it was all labor-intensive work, right? So back then, a lot of people had horses, which helped the hauling and plowing and whatnot a whole lot easier. So if it ever come a time when we had to go back to that era, a lot of people just aren't going to know how to do much of that, right? They're just not going to know how to do much of that. I for one. Now, I have a closet in the bedroom that I went and got a hardwood sapling, and I cut it down and made it almost into a perfect dowel, folks. It took me a while to find the right tree and with the straightness that I wanted to. That took way more time than I ever thought I needed to do that, and I swore I would never do it again, let me tell you. So I think if that happens, it's going to be a culture shock for over 90% of us. And if we're not in the best of shape, we're either going to get in shape or we're going to try or die getting into shape, right? So that's just what I wanted to say about that. Now, as you can see, I'm not swatting bugs, and I'm not complaining about the bugs, because I want to show you something. See that right there? It's probably backwards. Maybe it's not backwards. I don't know. It might be backwards. Some nice lady sent this to me, and it is Repel 100% or 100. Repel 100 insect repellent protects for up to 10 hours, and it does protect up to 10 hours, folks. It really does. This is really nice, and it's a pump spray, and a little bit goes a long way. So thank you very much for whomever sent that. I really appreciate it. Now, I am way up at the end of my garden, and I would go up even further further away from the frogs and the birds, but that's tall grass up there, and it's right full of ticks. So I'm just gonna stay here on the tarp. My compost bins are right over here to my right. So I had a conversation today with someone I know quite well, and she didn't know I had a YouTube channel, because I just don't tell people. She didn't know I had a YouTube channel, but she found out from somebody who watches me, and she said that she watches a lot of YouTube, but not this type of thing. And she said that she's watched quite a few of my videos, and she said that she thought it was quite refreshing that somebody got on there and actually was who they really are. Because I'm not going to put on airs, folks. I'm not. I'm just going to be who I am in front of this cell phone, in front of YouTube, or in my garden with Cousin Shay. I'm just going to be who I am. I'm no different. I'm just no different. The only thing is I try to keep the swearing down on YouTube. So thank you for that compliment, by the way. Thank you very much. I was also talking to somebody who owns a company today, and that company is, everything is going up. Everything is going up, folks. Their office rental space just doubled in price, exactly doubled in price. And they run group homes for the intellectually disabled. And the members have food assistance, right? For any of you that have food assistance from your state, or just food stamps, you know that that's not enough to live on now, right? It just isn't enough to live off from. There's not enough. You can't buy food. You have to supplement that with either a garden or food pantries or whatnot. But she said the food bill has exactly doubled, if not more. So that's a lot of money, folks. So I don't know what's going to happen when times get really, really bad. I suggested maybe they have a nice lawn at the office. Suggested that maybe they can put in like a community garden, and supplement their food bill that way. The members can get out there and they can learn gardening skills, and a lot of them might just have fun. They just might have fun. So, planting a garden and tending to the garden and harvesting the garden and eating the garden, you can't get any better than that, in my opinion, anyway. So, but I don't know how many. I don't think the owner of the company has garden skills, but I know a lot of the staff do. So just sign of the times, they're slowly breaking down the populace, and they're going after the small companies. And what are we doing about it? We're complaining to each other, but we're not standing up to it. We're just not. And it's almost like, well, yeah, everything's going up. We're struggling, and we're just gonna have to alter our ways and move on. And there's no anger. There's no disgust. There's more sadness than anything. More sadness and worry. And it hasn't even got as bad as it's going to get yet, right? So I'm just up here. I'm up here a little late, and I'm really tired. I've been up well, I got to work a little bit late. I make my own hours anyway, but I got to work about an hour later than I wanted to be. So I worked an hour later this afternoon and had a wonderful conversation with one of my co-workers about the times and how gas hit an all-time high here in Maine. Now, it hit the southern part of Maine. Kat in the north said down her way in southern Maine, it was $5.17 a gallon. And up here where I am, it just hit $5 a gallon, folks. That's hard on the pocketbook, especially if I only go to work 2 days a week. I work part-time, right? Now, someone that lives out like I do and has to travel, an hour to work 5 days a week, so there's 10 hours they're traveling just going back and forth from work, and that's sucking up a lot of gas, folks. That's cutting into their everything bill, right? So you take more money for gas, and you're gonna have to cut somewhere else, right? And people are cutting, and it just is what it is. And like I said, it hasn't even got bad yet, right? It hasn't even gotten bad yet. So someone said the other day that I don't watch channels like yours because they're too negative. They're just too negative. Well, I don't know if it's being too negative or just being a realist and telling what is the truth, right? So there's going to be deniers. There's going to be people that just are still going to pretend that life is good. And even though they're struggling, things will get better. Things will get better, and eventually they probably will, unless someone has their way and we get turned into a third world country, which we might. Whichever direction things go, it's going to be a whole lot different than it was just a few years ago, right? It is. Times are changing, and it seems like those of us here in America are just putting up with it. It's almost like something has made us very passive. Now, I know if times get real hard, I know me, I'm a fighter. I am going to win. Somehow I am going to win. And I know a lot of you are like that too. You're just going to win. And even if it kills you, you're going to win, right? But we haven't seen the worst of it yet. And a lot of people don't even realize what is coming because it's been this slow boil, right? Now, someone said the other day, I just wish this whole thing would hurry up and happen, and so we can get over it and then pick up the pieces and move on and carry on. It's never going back the way it was. It's just not going back the way it was. And pick up the pieces. Depends on what happens, what pieces we need to pick up, right? Now, we could have something catastrophic come overnight, who knows what could happen, right? We're like at odds with everybody, and we're getting our nose into everything instead of taking care of our own people, right? Um, so who knows what's going to happen? Something catastrophic could happen, or it could be a long, slow boil for a few years, right? It could be. It could last a few years, and it's just going to be painful. It's going to be, people are going to suffer, and it's almost like they're playing this like cruel game. How much can we make them suffer before they're just gonna buckle up and just cave into what we want? And some people will do that instantly anyway. Then there's going to be some of us who are gonna fight right to the bitter end, and that's just a difference in people, right? It just is. But anyway, I know some of you don't mind my rambling. I am really tired. I've been up for many hours, and I really should be. Really should be in bed. So I feel like I'm rambling. I don't know. I come out here with really nothing to say. So thank you very much for this. You have saved my sanity, and like I said, a little bit goes a very long ways, and this is really nice. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for listening to me babble on. And for Kimmy, my dear friend, you said it looked like I have lost weight. When I was at work, they have a digital scale, and I stepped on it. Girlfriend, I've only lost 2 pounds. So I think what's happening is every once in a while I put a t-shirt on that actually fits me, and it's not big and baggy. So I think when I wear big and baggy, it's people look bigger when they wear big and baggy. But when I have clothes on that actually fit me like they should, it just shows my true size. Now, here's a little something about me. My name is Laura Jean, Lora hyphen capital Jean. I have no middle name. That's my full first name. A lot of people call me LJ because that's short for Laura Jean. I'm also called Aunt Jane by my nieces and nephew. Long story. And a lot of my old friends and my sisters and my stepdad, they call me Gene. I've been called a lot of other names too, folks. So, but that's what I go by, and y'all know me as Hippie Chick. And whatever you want to call me, just be a little nice about it, please. And I'm just gonna go in. I'm tired, folks, and again, I'm rambling. So thank you for coming back. Please come again if you like anything that I have to say. I don't think I really said much tonight, but you can like and subscribe and maybe hit that bell icon if you want to listen to a middle-aged woman standing in her garden yakking. You can hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I do post a video. So thank you very much. Come back again. Thank you.